Good morning and welcome to Am I Mental? In the studio today we have Rangi Bristol. Rangi's going to have a general conversation with us today, so we'll start off by asking him a question. Rangi,
Yes.
can you share some of your earliest memories and experiences growing up in this community? Like, I can remember I can remember your dad, because he was the boss down the Ministry of Works camp down the Paraparas
Yep.
when I was a kid. So yeah, what about sharing some of your early memories?
Okay. That was my first job when I left school on the Ministry of Works. It was a youth. They applied for youth to go, and so I was with my grandfather down the Pipariki Road then on the farm, and he said to me, "Oh, your dad rang up. He said wants you to go to a youth thing on the Parapara." And he said, "Go and do it." He said, "They can give you more money than I can." So I shifted and went back and stayed down the Ministry of Works camp. But I travelled down weekly, and I became there. And then after that youth thing they asked, because must have been doing all right, did we want a permanent job there, but only as youth. And so I think out of about 6 of us, I think there's only one that went for that, and I became Ministry of Works worker. Worked there for 2 years, and when they closed the Ministry of Works camp down then, and it was pretty successful down there. We had a rugby team, but we only played against other Ministry of Works camps around like Wairau, Wanganui and that sort of thing. And when they went to close the camp, single men were the first to go, and like it was me and Karauhine were the only ones living in the single man quarters. The other single men were still living from their home and travelling, never used the camp. And so we were the first to go. So they didn't sack us, they gave us a choice to go to Bulls or Wairau. And we picked Wairau because they had a cookhouse.
So the Ministry of Works, that was established way back, in the 1800s, 1870?
Must have been, yeah.
As Public Works.
Yeah.
Moving forward, what did it turn into after Ministry of Works?
Okay, I went to the Ministry of Works and I was up in Wairau, get probably 3 times more money. So I did. So I went and joined private contractors, and I actually went to work for a guy, and his method was apply to the Crown, construct by contract. But otherwise it went through the Ministry of Works camp. Ministry of Works were the only ones that got and then the contractors got a job off them. But the contractors wanted construct by contract, working for the chairman of that organisation. Personal work where we could able to do it. I left the council work down there then and went to work for private contractors. And one of the ones we did, we put a pipe underneath the railway line, the main railway line, in Petone. And how we did it, dug the hole by hand. It was a 24-hour job, that one. So when you did it, and then the next half of the day, they had another, especially night time, we piped in, and we had a ram that pushed the pipe in as we dug it out by hand. That was under the railway line, the main railway line.
Whereabouts was that, up here?
Petone.
Oh, down there.
Yeah, because I went to, after Wairau, I went down to Petone because I was told to go down there by my brother-in-law. Actually, he said, "Man, you get twice as much money down here on the job." So I did. I went down there. But I learnt a lot through the Ministry of Works, through the guys that I work with, and Reha Manor it was.
Oh, yeah, because your dad was the boss down there when I was a kid, eh?
He might even, but he wasn't the boss. It was Bully Flavel when I left there, when I went there.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Yeah, Bully Flavel, and I'm just trying to think. There was two different ones when I went there.
Alan Maddock?
He came along after I left.
He was the last one that I can remember being there.
Yeah.
Alan Maddock, Bully Flavel, I remember him, and Joe Bristol.
No, they believed there was another one. Yeah, there was another boss there when I was there. When I shifted up there, then there was no, the Raya Manor became the foreman sort of thing, but it was that one you just mentioned from Wanganui.
Alan Maddock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was sort of running it from Wanganui. Yeah. We had quite a bit of few workers down there then in those days. Like I say, we had a rugby team. Yeah.
But you remember Reha and Boogie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't go through the stories, though.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want some of those stories because it'll be like comparing people back in those days, and we come forward into today, where everything is about mental health. Everybody's got mental health issues. Back then, they weren't. They were probably the mental health issues were probably there, and so was all the family violence and the drug and alcohol abuse. But
We never had much drug abuse.
No,
Down there. Only alcohol.
Only alcohol. Yeah. So you made up with it with the alcohol, eh?
I think. Well, I never drank, and every time they went to UPuck, they were racing to get me to drive their vehicle down there because I never drank. And then when I dropped them off at UPuck, I was able to go into town and muck around, yeah.
Catch up with those shillers, eh, Rangy?
Yeah, well, that's probably a start, yeah. And then I'd go back and pick them up and bring them back.
To your place?
Well, to the 31.
Oh, to 31. Yeah.
Mile camp, yeah. And the only fella, because Reha was our foreman, and there was three of us, me, him and Kira in his truck. We dug those roads by hand.
Yeah, I can remember the old men doing
holes in the ground, and then we went and loaded the trucks by hand, rocks that big, to fill up those holes again.
That's the sort of stuff we want to talk about, the jobs you did. Dad used to drive the mower.
Yeah.
You know, the arm would come down and it'd cut the grass most of the time. Otherwise, he was on a shovel.
I like Joe Man because actually I worked with him quite a bit, and he used to tell us he knew a lot of the history there. So he was telling us things. He was telling me where the camps were, you know.
Uri and all them.
Yeah, but before Ministry of Works was even made.
Huh?
But they had special camps all the way to Wanganui, and he told me where they were. I still remember the one in Pipariki was just, where the school was just back a bit. Before that corner, he said there was one there going up the Lakes Hill. He said, when I told you that he said they stayed in their little hut down there.
Yep.
Well, if you go across the road, there was one camp there before it went right up to the top. They as the road was developed, they were shifting the camps, and he was the one I knew right from up right here, all the way down. And when Thing blew his arm off with dynamite.
Who is that?
What's his name from here?
Someone blew his arm off.
He did it himself. What he was doing, he was lighting the dynamite sticks and then showing, but he must have held it too long.
And it blew his arm off.
Yeah, one of the fellows used to live across the block there. He actually lived in there, so he was I think he must have one eye missing. But in those days, everything was dynamite.
I can remember Dad using gelignite to catch trout.
Yeah. Well, they did. They used to chuck it in the water and catch the trout.
So, what about Kira? You mentioned Kira. What was he? What was his other name? And what did he do?
Rohina. Terry Rohina's son. But his mother was Rick from up here. He died, and then he married another lady, Terry Rohina.
Oh, Terry did?
Yeah.
Terry married Kahui. You remember Kahui?
Yeah. Well, he only had the two. He had his first wife was from up here.
Was she a Mahi?
Philip, no, not a Phillips. Might have been the Mahis was his next one. Because Terry, my brother, Terry Bristol, was named after him. And we all did. I was named after Rangi Kuru. Yeah, but so they actually adopted me.
Who, the Kurus?
Yeah, but his mother died. His wife died. So my mother went and got me back. I didn't know about it, but they told me in photographs and all that sort of thing.
So you were born here?
Born and bred and right here, yeah. Well, I think that was the only Johannes Hospital in those days, around this area and everywhere.
Did your dad travel down to the 31 every day?
No, we lived down there. We had a house down there. We actually, before that, we used to stay in the quarters along the road as they built the road.
Up at the farm?
You know, we used to stay. They never had the ministry of the 31 hadn't been built then. So as they moved from place to place, they took the quarters there. These small huts that people lived in. Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember those huts.
Yeah, and then they moved them all the way. And then a lot of I think when they finished it, I think they might have gave those huts to those people as well. Yeah, probably. Yeah, there was not a hell of a lot, but there was a few still there because they didn't just build the streets in 1 week and the houses and all that. But I can remember I was still around when they were building those houses. And we stayed just up the road a bit in Badley's.
Oh, yeah, in the two-storey house.
No, it wasn't a two-storey, but it was right beside the road when you go down the hill, because we used to walk to school from there to Kakadai School.
Dodd Badley lived opposite Kakadai School.
Just about from the Ministry of Works camp, along the flat bit of a road there,
Yep.
before it went down the hill we lived. I can still see the drive that's still
It's
there
still
where
there.
we used to go up here. But we used to walk in and out just below the house. We were able to walk down and thing, and we used to walk to school every day from there.
Yeah, that's up at the old, where there's the shearers' quarters now, eh? Up there.
I don't know.
Wasn't Jackie Nettle there?
Badleys and that.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty successful. They ended up all the way along the road.
Yeah, they boundaried with the Otoko Pa and came up, the Badley name came all the way up
Yeah.
to the top of Hirari's Bluff.
I don't know whether they bought the land. They might have just leased it sometimes or even bought some. I'm not too sure.
Well, back in those days, I think you'll find that Dodd Badley, the old fella that lived opposite the school,
Yeah.
he used to be on the county council.
Oh, yeah.
And so he would have known when there was land
The
coming
very
up.
flash houses, those houses too, I can remember. But from the school, you used to go down, a little sharp down, there was a creek there.
Yeah.
And the road went right down there before it came back up again. But then when they went to redevelop it, they filled in all that gully, so you could drive straight across now. So it's improved enormously from when I can first remember as a kid. Then we shifted to Rāti, well, we never went down there a lot. And then our father used to come back weekends.